Everybody, Father Bob here at the South Campus with my dog Arlo, who's on the floor over there sleeping, noon nap. But thanks for joining us this afternoon. This afternoon we've got Janie Jasin, who's been a longtime parishioner, with us, and Janie has been a motivational speaker and humorist with the National Speakers Association, and done many good things for us as a parish, and is here today. Welcome, Janie.
Thank
nice
you.
To have
This
you.
is very special.
Nice to have you here. Janie, why don't we just start, because I know you're a Wisconsin person, and tell us a little bit about your early years, and you're from Wisconsin, and
Okay.
what would you say about, what were you like as a kid growing up?
Oh boy. Well, I was trying to get ready for this little event, and I was thinking, okay, are you gonna start when you're born? The first thing I want to say is I'm an only child, so I grew up 9 years after my parents were married, and so I didn't know what that was like to have a lot of brothers and sisters. But my parents kept teaching me different things that were happening, that I could go in a truck with them. I could see what they were doing with their business. They were worried about things. They were fixing things. They were making things. And I had 9 years in their marriage before, before it was just really like a family. So
Yeah.
I didn't know what you would know with your brothers and sisters. So what happens when you're an only child is I was so creative. And I was thinking of you because I used to have...
Why were you thinking of
Well,
me?
because I used to set up a whole thing where you could have communion right in my basement. And the treats were just, from the candy. And I would bring other people over, and I'd put it all on and sing. And so
you
life
were the
went
priest
on.
saying mass
I was
with the card table.
But I just did a lot of stuff outside,
Yeah,
and I made
yeah.
up stories because I was alone.
Yeah.
I had to make
love
up
that.
things.
Well, kids have a great gift of imagination, and I'd always say with my younger brother, let's pretend, and then we create something, and then you were doing that
I was doing
alone,
that.
but maybe more so because
Well, we'd
that's
bring the other
yeah.
kids over from the thing, and I think my dad didn't want me to be alone, so he bought a slide, he bought a swing, he bought all these other things, and he put them all in the yard. And then the goal was, we'll get some other people in here to talk with her, because other people had brothers and sisters. So that was very exciting. So I
Did you do any
that.
plays or anything?
Oh, many plays. The big thing really that I think was so spectacular was I decided to do a show in the garage, and I was about 12. And so I got the other children in the thing, and we roller skated. It was like a roller skating show. And I had the music and the sound, and I told them, now you skate out of this cupboard, and then we'll do this, and you sing. And we put it all to the things that were going on. Anchors away, my boys. We were, that was, the war was on. A lot of sad stuff going on. So did all of that. And then there was a big problem with polio, the disease. And so I decided in my garage, I would have a show, and we would get money for polio. So I had about 250 people on the driveway coming to see the show. And my mother was like, oh, but then she put up curtains. She did all that so that my parents did things for me to enhance.
Really supportive of your
Yeah.
fledgling acting career, and but it was like a musical on roller skates or
Yes,
something.
it was.
For a good cause, yeah.
Just
But
good.
it I would suspect that was something you drew on and kind of moved you in the direction towards what you would do in your career.
I did the same thing growing up. And we put a sign in the lawn, and here's this show is coming. I just learned how to broadcast what might be coming.
Yeah, Yeah. So, what town in Wisconsin?
Wauwatosa.
Wauwatosa.
Was a west suburb of Milwaukee.
Okay.
And my parents were business people in Milwaukee.
So, and I do know, Janie, that your folks had the place on the lake, which I've been to, and water skiing. What about the summers? Talk about the summers when growing up as a kid.
Well, the summers were, you would do the water ski show. That was like getting ready for that and maybe have that. But the earlier years was just swimming and jumping in. And then boats came into play. I don't know, maybe like late teenage for me. And I thought that was great because then that was about skiing and go on the surfboard and spin around. And of course for me it was, well, now that's enough of that, let's have a show with that.
Mm-hmm.
So I would just make that all up. And
So it went from a garage show to a,
Yes.
a water ski show.
that's right.
Awesome, awesome. So good Catholic girl growing up, schools,
Oh yes.
where'd you go?
Holy Redeemer, Christ King, Divine Savior, Mount Mary.
Okay, so high school,
All-
high school is where?
All Catholic schools.
Mm.
And then I drifted off for one bad season with not Catholic. And I didn't really care much for it at all. I didn't know
Yeah.
what people did. I didn't know what people did that had boys in their school.
Mhm.
It's all the girls and all the Hail Mary. And so I didn't know how to do that exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I got married, so I could learn it.
Learn how to dance. No, you already knew how to dance.
Yes, yes.
So, you know, you got married and family, and take it from there.
Yes, I got married, and my husband was immediately transferred to Washington, D.C., to the Virginia, all of those things. And then from there we were transferred to Illinois and to another place in Illinois. And just we transferred 14 times.
Mm.
And I thought that's what you did. And I think women did that at that time.
Yeah.
They just got transferred around. So that I was good with all of that. And then
Yeah.
when we got up here, I don't know, there was some kind of I didn't get it. I think because everybody here they've been here before, they lived here before, they grew up here, they knew it all. And I was just an oddie. I didn't know anybody here.
Mm.
So I was stuck. And the
Yeah.
people that were in my neighborhood were some very wealthy people. And I didn't fit in as a, grown up mother. So took a while. But
Yeah, yeah. But that was your introduction to Minnesota, and you're still here with a lot of water over the dam, and much of your story, but you got into speaking. How did that happen?
okay, here's how it happened. As a wife and mother, I was always loving the children and doing things for them that were kind of showy, because I wanted them to be in little shows and things. And then, as I got older, the children were getting kind of bigger, and some lady said to me, why don't you go to what's it called, the school where you what am I trying to say?
Speaking school?
No, where the VOTECs are, the tech colleges.
Okay.
Okay, so what happened before the tech college was I discovered I was alcoholic. So I went right from that raising the children and trying to understand that, and I went to treatment. So when I got into treatment, I kind of woke up. I think there was enough guidance there for me to understand maybe you can do more than just live at the lake with the rich people and do that. So I ended up signing up for a class at the tech college. It was in Dakota County, and I did it one night a week, and it was business and people, how they reach customers and all that. Well, I knew how to do that, reach the customers. So I did that, and it just evolved rapidly because with that tech college, well, they wanted the other tech college. Couldn't you go up to St. Cloud? Well, you could go over to Alexandria. You could go here. You could go there. By this time, I was kind of enough strength in me that I said to Jim Jasin, my husband, I think I'm going to do some of this. And that was fine. And so then, you know who this is. I met Frankie Finch. This was a woman that I had met at General Mills, and she was a dancer, she was a musician, and she'd been a teacher, so she was very loving and supportive of anything that I thought of. She didn't ever say, well, I think that's a stupid idea. She would just say, try that, Janie, just try that. So by this time, I'm out with different groups of people, and I'm trying these things, and then I fed into it with high schools and colleges with teenagers, and I could pump that stuff about alcoholism and drug dependency. I just fed it all in, and then the real sneaky part was the clue was a word called affirmation, and it came from Bill Bullock over here in, Minnesota.
Father Bullock.
He gave me this book, and he gave it to me early on in my sobriety. And when I opened it, I started to finally understand when you affirm somebody, it's not like, oh, I like your shirt, Bob. That looks good. It was really about, I see such goodness in you. Oh, I see that your strength, you're doing so well. Tell me more about that. So I was already melting my father's kind of work with how he supported his workers, how he supported people that were in the neighborhood, how he supported me with the ski shows. It all kind of fit together, and I finally understood this affirming thing from Conrad Bars, who was a medical doctor, was finally I could understand all that stuff that we learned in the past of self-confidence, self-esteem. You should have that. You should be confident. You should be fun.
A lot of shoulds.
But it really was
no pressure, yeah.
See the good in yourself and see the good in someone else. And you didn't have to fake it with, I just love your shoes. I like your shirt. It was the real deal. And so I began to do that. And my friend Frankie, she was 20 years older than me, and you know her. She took me on like I see so much good in you, Janie. And I think my parents thought, oh, gee, I was kind of fun, and that was good. But no one had said that to me. I see so much good in you.
Yeah, would you say Frankie did for you what the book was talking about? Affirmed you, you saw your goodness, and inspired you, kind of drew that, encouraged you.
And she could say it because now you know what it's like when you meet the kids in school and the kids in the church and the grown parents. I mean, we have people, that sweet lady that just passed away, I just loved her so much at our church. She was the kind of person that anytime I walked up to her, she'd just say, oh, I just see so much good in you. So there were people in our parish that knew how to do that, and I knew how to do it, and I just kept doing it. I didn't care what anybody thought. I was just going to.
I love that. And of course, it's at St. Victoria with our vision, kind of the spirit is, the language that we use is to be the face and hands of Jesus for others, and to see Jesus in others, and to affirm that in them is I think, a lot what you're talking about here with that affirmation.
Well, when I came here, and then you came here, I didn't like you. You were, I thought.
Probably a lot of people. I was new.
No.
I was diocesan. I wasn't Franciscan.
No, that was not, no. Good-looking guy. He's going to run the show. How's this going to be? And then I heard about the eyes. Everything changed. And I had it in my mind. I don't care what I have to do. I'm going to be supportive of this man because he's going to bring really good things here.
So I had to come to some
had to be
vulnerability
ill.
for you to be on my on my team. I
I
get
don't,
it.
maybe, well,
No.
because I liked
Yeah.
Elston and I
Yeah.
kind of knew him, but,
Yeah.
and you were,
Yeah.
he's from this side. No, and then when I saw what was happening, that was the end
Yeah.
of it. I would have
Well,
done anything.
so Janie, but back to your career, and Frankie was a huge influence on you and got you started, and you went a little bit of school. But when did you step into public speaking, motivational speaking? At what point?
Well, somebody told me that the National Speakers Association was someplace I should go because I was doing some little talks for the tech colleges. So I thought, okay, well, I'll study that, National Speakers Association. I sent my thing off like, oh, I could join that maybe. And then I had an issue with my family. My husband didn't want me to do that. But I was determined, I'm going to do this, I'm going to be a part of this. And so then I saved my money and I went to the first National Speakers Association convention. When I got to the convention, I was sitting in this bunch of chairs, and everything, and this man was next to me. And he just kept looking over at me and he'd say, well, now, who are you, little lady? Tell me about you. Well, who was it? It was Cabot Robert, the founder of the National Speakers Association. He just took me on, and I just rolled with what was going on in that convention. And so there was no way ever turning back. I needed, and maybe we all do, I needed to be with a group of people that did that. Because you can't just wander around your town. Hi, do you speak? No. So that was
Got a network of support.
safe place, and they did what I kind of thought I'd do. And so I just, oh, well, I'm just going to go up here, and I offered my services, and da-da-da-da, and I paid the thing and went to the retreats and went and paid, and then it just was all around me. It took about 2 years to just envelop me in.
Yeah.
This is the place.
But they really took you into a community. We do. I think we can do things beyond what we thought we could do in the context of community, the support of a community, and the beauty of a community too. And I'm struck also with the key people that were there. Frankie, Father Bullock kind of steered you, and then this gentleman who was sitting next to you, president of the association, draws you in, invites you in.
Well, he started the whole thing, and
Wow.
then he had some similarities of my father, which was that take this other person in and carry. But the people in the National Speakers Association that ran the thing, they weren't, hi, I'm a big deal. They were all like, yeah, but tell me about what you do. That would be so good to learn that.
Yeah. One more thing, Janie, about tell us about the book, the Christmas
okay.
tree book,
Oh,
the story behind that.
Okay, well, what do you think, Arlo? I was doing well with my career when my father died and my mother lost her mind. And they had a cottage on a lake in Wisconsin. I'm an only child. They never made me a piece of that. They never had that like they were going to die and I was going to have that, because they were okay for a long time. So that was going on, and my mother lost her mind, and she was in the nursing home, and I was not.
With Alzheimer's.
Yeah, and I was not power of attorney. I'm an only child. So I went to the lake cottage, and I decided to walk into the Christmas tree farms because they grow Christmas trees in Watoma, Wisconsin. And so I walked into this nursery farm place, and I just stood there. It was warm and sunny, and the beach or the sand was warm, and I stood there, and this little tree was only about this big and had some broken branches, and I looked at that little tree, and I said, you're going to make it. So I just kind of touched the tree, and then I walked back to the cottage at the lake, and I didn't think about it, but I had taken some pictures of the little tree with my camera. When I was over there feeling bad, I wanted to take a picture anyway. And what happened was a friend of mine who was a book publisher, she said, tell me about what that was about the tree. And I said, well, I wrote it all down. Once upon a time in a field of Christmas tree seedlings, there stood a tiny tree, and all she wanted to do was be chosen. And that's basically what we all want. We want to be chosen for Holy Communion. We want to be chosen for being with you. We want to be chosen for doing something. So I had written down on one page, once upon a time, and I had written, the trees are growing, and they're all looking up. They feel the sun and the warmth, and they don't know exactly what they're supposed to do. They'd like to be chosen. Well, wouldn't we all? Mm-hmm. So they'd like to be chosen, but they're waiting, and while they're waiting, they see the birds, and they see the rabbits, and they see the people. But what happens? This isn't about Santa. This is not about a snowman. This is about you and I, which is at the end, the little Christmas tree says, at last I understand. The magic was today. Standing patiently, she looks up and says, thank you for life, thank you for dreams, and thank you for choosing me to grow today in this world with its many possibilities. Well, I think that's what you do here. You look at a person, you affirm them, you make them feel like they're seen, that they're chosen, that they would like to be part of it. And I think that's what we all want. So it wasn't, it was sneaky.
Beautiful.
I knew it was about Jesus, but...
So we're all that littlest Christmas tree, wanting to be chosen and to give back and to take in life the way God gives it and to grow to who we're called to be. You know, it's encapsulates a lot. It's a beautiful thing, and you still got copies, right, Janie?
I reprinted them. We've sold over 2.5 million copies of those.
Beautiful, beautiful gift, really. We're going to wrap up. We got one more. We take a question from the Magic Orange Hat.
Oh, my.
And I'm going to hand this to you, Janie, and you get to weigh in on this one. What is it?
What would you do with $1 million? I'd give it away. I'd give it to you. I'd give it to anybody that wants to do something with our church, with kids that have nothing. That I just would give it away. I don't know how to spend anymore.
There's no lack of needs out there today.
Yeah, I've been given so very much that there's nothing I need to.
Wanted the desire to give back. Janie, great having you with us. It's fun to hear you talk about the story and just how things started in the garage, plays and things that shaped your life and people that shaped your life and the fruit of that and the books that shaped your life and the creativity that has come out of you since and affirming people and helping them be the best little Christmas tree they can be, all of us. It's really...
And the miracle is that through your loss of vision, we got to be with you a long time.
Well, thank you, Janie. Thank you.
And yay for that.
Yeah.
You erase that if you
we
don't
all
like.
work with our challenges and become better because we support each other. Janie, thank you for being with us. And everybody, thank you for tuning in to the South Campus show. We'll be with you next week. Be well, be good. Take time this Advent to experience the joy of the season. Thank you. See you next week.